College, and welcome to my channel, that is Prajakta Kulkarni SV Union High School, Pune. Please visit and subscribe this channel. Today from Standard 11 we are going to learn the chapter number 4, Cyber Law. This is a very interesting chapter as you will come to know all the rules and regulations, what are do's and don'ts related to this chapter. So let's start with this chapter. Now, in this chapter, we are going to learn the introduction to cyber law. What is the meaning of cyber law? Ethics and morals. What do you mean by ethics? What do you mean by morals? The cybercrime and its examples, cyber safety and security rules, Information Technology Act 2000 and the case studies. Now, what is the meaning of cyber law? Cyber law is the area of law that deals with the Internet's relationship to the technological and electronic elements, including computers, software, hardware, and information system. Now, actually, cyber law, it is the overall system which deals with the information technology, as we are using the networking concept, which is where two or more computers are connected to each other by sharing certain resources. In the networking concept, the resources are shared. So on the internet, there are different things which are happening nowadays, like hacking, cracking, transferring the amount. So these are the illegal actions. So to avoid these actions, to remove these actions, to overcome these actions, the cyber laws are made. So cyber law is the part of the overall legal system that deals with the internet, cyberspace and their respective legal issues. Whatever laws and regulations are designed to use the internet, that is nothing but the cyber law. So in simple term, we can say the cyber law is the law which deals with all the internet users, how they handle the internet. Now after this, the next concept is the advantages of cyber law. Why cyber law is required? So people can perform transactions over the internet through their credit cards without the fear of misuse. So as there is a cyber law, there are certain rules and regulations. So nowadays, millions of transactions are done over the internet. For example, related to banking, the bank money is transferred from one account to other account. Or when we swipe the debit card or credit card, the amount is transferred. So with the help of internet, while doing the transactions online, we can do the transactions without fear because we know that amount is transferred to the correct account without any misuse of that account, or money will not get transferred to the other account. The IT Act officers offers the much needed legal framework so that the information is not denied legal effect, validity or enforceability solely on the ground that is in the form of electronic records. Now whenever you transfer the information, always the document which is transferred, that is known as the electronic record. When we transfer such types of confidential document, then a particular security procedure is required. That is the antivirus system is there, or the firewall, which is the security system, is required. So IT Act offers the much needed legal framework so that this information which is in the form of electronic record can be transferred securely. In view of the growth of transactions and communications carried out through the electronic records, the Act seeks to empower government departments to accept filing, creating, and retention of official documents in the digital format. Now you know, as a government sector has already changed, it is digitalized now. It is giving it is working on the digital platform. So all the departments in the government sectors, they are accepting all the filing of the documents, the creating of new documents, and the retention of all the official documents in the digital format. So all the employees, those who are working under government departments, they are using the digital platform to do all the documents electronically, which they store in the form of electronic record. The IT Act has also proposed a legal framework for the authentication and origin of electronic records, communications through the digital signature. Now, when we transfer the record, the authentication is also required. Whether the correct user is doing the transformation, he is doing the proper transferring of data. So for the authentication purpose, each electronic record has given a digital signature. That is, it is digitalized sign by the government. That means this is the official document which is signed electronically, which is in the form of electronic record. So these are certain advantages of cyber law. Next one, the concept is, what do you mean by ethics and morals? Now, ethics means the values. It is also called as the moral philosophy. Is the discipline concerned with what is morally good and bad, right or wrong? We can say generally accepted standards of right and wrong in the society called as the ethics. And always follow the right things, that is known as the morals. The standards of behavior, principles of right and wrong behavior, thus morals are dictated by the society, culture or a religion, while ethics are chosen by the person himself which governs his life. This chapter introduces the do's and don'ts of cyber law. That means what in the cyber world, what are the do's and what are the don'ts. For example, now when you install any type of software, then always you have to use a licensed copy of that software. Never use the pirated copy for that software. It is essential. So generally accepted standards of right and wrong is called as moral, and always doing the right things is called as the ethics. Now after this, what is the term that means cyber crime? So cybercrime, a computer crime, is alternatively referred as cybercrime or e-crime or high-tech crime. The computer crime is an act performed by acknowledgeable computer user. Sometimes he can be referred as a hacker or a cracker who illegally browses or steals a company's or individual's private information. In some cases, this person or group of individuals may be malicious and destroy or otherwise corrupt the computer or data files. These hackers, they are specially very bad people. They can do anything in the cyber world. They can hack the account, they can crack the password, they can destroy the information, they can insert a virus so that the other files get destroyed. Their intention towards the computer is very bad, and that's why all the losses they are suffered by the company itself because of the hackers. Cybercrimes can involve criminal activities that are traditional in nature, such as theft, fraud, forgery, defama- defamation, and mischief, all of which are the subject to the Indian Penal Code. So, cybercrimes are of different types. So, under Indian Penal Code, they are giving certain, we can say the uh, we can give different we can take the different actions. The government of India can take the different actions against these cyber crime. If the crime is at high level, then they can get they can get the punishment related to that also. Now, after this, the cyber crimes. There are two different types are there. In that, the first one is software piracy and second one is unauthorized access. One by one, we are going to see the examples of cybercrime. Software piracy is nothing but the copyright or violation of software created originally by an individual or an institution. Stealing of codes, programs, illegally monitoring the information, illegally handling the information, creating the unlimited copies of the series, then utilizing the data either for their own benefit or for profit making. All these actions go under the software piracy. For example, when you download a copy of a licensed software, for example, downloading game from a file sharing website without paying for it, it is called as software piracy. Or you copy the data which is a copyrighted one, that is also a software piracy. You download any free software from the net and afterwards they will tell you to pay for it, and when you don't pay, that is also a software piracy. So these are certain examples of software piracy. Second is unauthorized access. Okay, that is gaining the access without permission of authorized users. The authorized users are the are working for the benefit of company. So this unauthorized access means when a person illegally hacks the data without the permission of the authorized user, then it is called as unauthorized access. Authorization means the granting access rights to resources which is related to the information security, computer security, and to access control in particular sector. Attempting to get the information like emails, bank accounts, intellectual or any other personal and confidential information from unauthorized person is known as accessing the machine illegally. So anything when you access without the permission of the owner, that is called as unauthorized access. Hacking financial bank account related information, stealing organizational or intellectual information for their own benefit is known as unauthorized access. In the exam, how you copy, that is also unauthorized access. When you see the paper of other student and write it, that becomes the unauthorized access. Next cybercrime is a copyright violation. A copyright is the legal right that gives the creator of a literacy, artistic, musical, or other creative work the sole right to publish and sell that work. So copyrighted material, always a C and circle is written, that is the copyrighted symbol. Copyright symbol is given in front of that particular owner. That material is copyrighted to that particular person only. So obviously it is related to the literature work or certain music or dramatical work. When that particular material or video is copyrighted, then it should not be used for other purposes. That material is the sole right to publish. They can publish. Who is the owner of that, he can publish it. But some people, they misuse this copyright, they violate this copyright law, and that becomes the copyright violation. Without their knowledge, they use it, they save it by their name, that is a copyright violation. Next one is cracking. The activities such as decipher the codes, breaking the codes. In the movies also you must have seen a machine is placed over the password machine and the machine detects the password, and the person who has come to steal the information, he types that password and cracks the password. So activities such as decipher codes or passwords and breaking security systems for illegal reasons is called as cracking. The cracker will use a program or script known as a crack that has been written specifically to do what they are hoping to achieve. So like that, they can easily crack the code and they can steal the unethical information. So that is again illegal act which comes under cybercrime. Next concept, a new to you, cyberbullying or cyber stalking. Cyber stalking is a criminal practice where an individual uses the internet to systematically harass or threaten someone. Now, for example, this often happens in the corporate world. So one person sends the email by other name, or one person sends the messages, they chat with someone by the other name. So that term is known as the cyberbullying. This crime can be perpetrated through the email, social media, chat rooms, instant messaging client, or any other online medium. So like that, certain when emails are sent, or you must have seen the Facebook, the face is changed by the other name and that is posted on the Facebook post. So that becomes a cyberbully or cyber stalking. Next, again a new term, phishing. This is a technique of extracting confidential information such as credit card numbers and username password combos by pretending as a legal enterprise. Phishing is typically carried out by email spoofing. Now here phishing means what? When you go to the ATM, okay, now you don't know whether there is another machine which is placed over the camera, under the camera, and which detects the password when as soon as we insert the card. So nowadays this is the most common thing. The person who is going to withdraw the money, he has to be very careful, because when a machine is placed that we don't come to know, automatically as we type the password, he gets the password of that card, he make a duplicate card password, and with that password he make the duplicate card and he use the same password to withdraw the money. So this term is called as the phishing. That time we have to be very carefully. First we have to check whether any type of machine is placed over there. The camera you have to check, and then only with proper precaution you can insert the card and withdraw the money. The next cybercrime is called as plagiarism. Now, plagiarism is presenting someone else's work or idea as your own without their consent, same like your unauthorized access. The widespread use of computers and the advent of the internet has made it easier to plagiarize the work of others. For example, plagiarism is found in the documents such as essay reports. Suppose you want to go for the elocution competition. So what you generally do, you Google, you type the particular name of the essay or elocution competition, whatever the thing which they have given to you. The sentence you type, you will get n number of multiple essays for the competition. So you can take the you can use the material for your own use, you take some data from that and you can use it. So that this term is called as the plagiarism. So nowadays it is often because most of the students they use the material which is already available on the internet and use it for their research purpose or for writing the essays or reports. Next is hacking. So hacking refers to unauthorized intrusion into a computer or a network. Hacker is a person intensely interested in the deep and hidden of concealed working of any computer operating system and programming language. So they can hack, for example, they can transfer the money from one account, bank account to other. That is called as hacking. They can hack the password, they can hack the user ID, and they can create a different card through which they can withdraw the money from the bank account. So all these terms are called as hacking. Now the government has a hacking course, but that is for the benefit of the government. So in the Swiss bank, number two, money is always there. So if a good hacker is there and if he is giving his life for India, then definitely he can transfer that money from the Swiss bank account to Indian bank account. So like that, different hacking courses are also available. If you are interested, you can join the hacking course also, but see to it that you will utilize it properly for the benefit of mankind. The next concept is the cyber safety and security. The cyber safety is the safe and responsible use of information and communication technology. It is not just about keeping information safe and secure, but also about being responsible with that information, being respectful of other people online, and practicing good etiquettes, that is internet etiquettes. So it is must that everyone in India must follow the cyber safety. In that, the first one is identity threats and risk. The system operates slowly with more response time. How to identify it? If the system crashes suddenly and unable to download updates, appearance of new unfamiliar icons or messages on desktop. So in this case, when you see all these details on your computer, then you have to identify that your computer is in risk. The next one is protection of data. The protect the network with firewall. Now firewall, it is one of the security system which appears as a barrier between your local network and physical network. So you have to protect the system with the firewall, create different logins and strong password for different users. So if there are multiple employees working in the organization, always the login names and passwords are different and the password must be a strong one. It is mentioned that you have to change your password twice in a month so that it will always save from the hacking. Use only verified open source or licensed software and operating systems. It is must always the licensed copy of the software and the operating system you should use. Prohibit use of personal devices on the network such as personal USB or hard drives or your pen drives. Protect your Wi-Fi connection with secure password. If you have Wi-Fi at home, Wi-Fi stands for wireless fidelity. If you have Wi-Fi at home, then always give a secure password which you will not discuss with other people. Web encryption, that is encrypt the network traffic. This is also a new concept for protection of data. Now, after this, the recovery from the cyber attack. By taking all the security, still your system has the attack, cyber attack, then that time after the cyber attack the data should be cleaned, recovered and restored as much as possible. There are certain recovery software which you get, so with the help of that you can clean the virus, you can recover it, restore it. Investigation should be carried out with support from an professional expert who has attacked, who has done the cyber attack. The investigation must be done and measures should be taken to avoid reoccurrence. So, in 2000, the Y2K problem occurred in America, which destroys all the important government sector files, starting from the medical, their government sectors, their educational sector, everything they attacked. But by taking the proper precautions, proper measures, again they recovered whatever possible things were there. So, to avoid this cyber attack, one must be secure the system properly. Educate your stakeholders, students, and staff. Introduce different courses, lessons, activities for students and teachers on major components of cyber security and safety. So you have to tell the students and teachers and staffs how you can secure your system from the different cyber attack, how to change the password. So like that instructions you have to keep. Now what are the do's and don'ts for the students in the cyber world? As you know, the students are using internet for various purposes, because in their syllabus, as the syllabus is advanced, so they require the use of internet many times. The concepts are new to them, so they can definitely take the help of Google to search the different types of information. So in this case, when they use the internet, what do's and don'ts they have to do? First, we will see with the do's. Adhere to copyright restrictions when downloading material from the internet, including software, games, movies, and music. Just follow all the regulations, the copyright restrictions when you download anything from internet. Report online bullying immediately to the teacher and parents or someone whom you trust. If you have got any different email which is unknown to you, the name is unknown to you, immediately you have to inform the teachers or parents. Very important, use a strong and unique password with combinations of numbers, uppercase and lowercase letters, and special characters for each account, and change your password frequently. So as I told, within a month, twice you will change the password, and keep always a strong password which has the combination of all, that is digits, characters, special characters, lowercase letters, uppercase letters, etc. Obtain the software from trusted sources. Always scan files before opening them. So when you insert a pen drive, then always you have to scan the pen drive first, because may the pen drive contains a virus which destroys all your files. Check to see if the web address begins with HTTP whenever you sign it online. So HTTP is a standard protocol which fetches the web page from their server to site. So always see to it that whatever website you are opening, that starts with the HTTPS. Connect only with known individuals, very important, which are unknown to you, which number you don't have, don't connect with them. Think twice before you post, like, share something related to sensitive topics like politics, religion, etc. When you share a post, you must think what other people think. You must follow all the things what they are following. So you should not hurt anyone when you post any post on a social networking site. Report to the service provider immediately if the account is hacked. If possible, deactivate your account. If you see the unknown messages on your account, then report to the service provider immediately if your account is hacked. And if possible, try to deactivate your account. Now, what are the don'ts that we will see? Don't share your personal information, that is real name, date of birth, phone number, etc. unnecessarily. Without necessity, don't share anything with unknown people. Don't send your pictures to unknown persons or share them on social media. Very important. Nowadays, whenever you travel at different place, then you share the images. See to it that you whatever you have shared, you should remove it on the next day itself. Don't share your own images on the social media because there are chances that your account get hacked and unnecessarily you will fall in trouble. Don't open emails and attachments from strangers. Don't tell the stranger to open your email or attachment. Don't respond to any suspicious email, instant message, or web page asking for personal information. The page which you don't know, which you are not familiar, if they are asking your personal information, don't respond them. Don't share your password or one-time password which you called as OTP with anyone. Don't save your username and password on the browser. Very important. On the browser, you will not share the username. Normally, they will ask you to share the username and password to save it on the browser, but you don't save it. Don't access or use the files without the permissions of the owner. Without their permission, you will not share any or use any file. Don't bully others online by teasing, threatening, using rude or offensive language, making the hateful comments or derogatory or hateful comments. Don't do anything which feels bad to you also and to others. They will feel bad when you do such things. Don't open or download any attachment from an unknown source as they may be harmful. These are the don'ts which you have to follow. Now, what are the security procedures? First one is encryption, which is a method of converting the original message into random text, which should be complex to understand and difficult for a hacker to decode. The idea is to ensure the security and safety of data and its transmission. Now, encryption is a method which changes your plain format of the document into the coded form. So, if anyone tries to hack in between, he can't because that is in coded form, and even hacker also, they can't break the code. So, this is one of the finest security procedure you can use. Second one is SSL, that is secure socket layer. It is the most consistent security model. Through the secure socket layer, transmission of data is encrypted, that is converted into the coded form. Client server information is authenticated by giving the username and password, and also the message integrity for transmission control protocol and internet protocol connections secured. So when you transfer the amount, so when one transaction is done online, then always through the internet, the TCP/IP protocol works. So to find the correct IP address is the job of TCP/IP protocol. So this secure socket layer, this is also one of the security procedure. Third one is firewall. So firewall refers to the network security, that is hardware and software system which blocks certain types of information, forming a barrier between a trusted and untrusted network. It attempts to block the spread of computer attacks. So firewall is the network barrier between your local network and the physical network, and it is one of the finest security procedure which gives the security for the hardware as well as software system. Now the next concept is Information Technology Act of India 2000, which was passed in 2000, but it came into effect on in 2008. This act aims to provide the legal infrastructure for e-commerce in India. Now, what is e-commerce? The buying and selling of goods and services online. So, this act gives a proper infrastructure to the e-commerce sector in India. The cyber laws have a major impact for e-businesses and the new economy in India. So it is important to understand what are the various perspectives of the IT Act 2000 and what it offers. The IT Act 2000 also aims to provide for the legal with electronic signature to make it a more technology neutral act. It elaborates on offenses, penalties, and breaches. It defines in a new section that cyber cafe is any facility from where the access to the internet is offered by any person in the ordinary course of business to the members of the public. The IT Act was amended in 2008 and 2011, and it includes the rules for cyber safety, cyber security, delivery of services by the service providers, audit of electronic document, etc. So, the cyber cafe, as you know, the people can use the internet facility in the cyber cafe. The cyber security is provided, the delivery of services, online delivery of the services, transferring of the money online, then auditing of electronic documents. Such rules are given in the IT Act India. So all the rules related to e-commerce and usage of internet, they are mentioned in the Information Technology Act of India 2000. Now see the case study 1. Suppose Mr. A checked his account. His account is displayed deduction of rupees 30,000. The investigation revealed the money had been transferred to Mr. B's account. He was informed that he has been a victim of cybercrime. He had given his password and name online by replying the 10 emails sent by the hackers. The hackers then logged into Mr. A's account and put in their mobile number instead of his, so that when they did make the transfer, the message alert of the transfer would go to their mobile and not his. Phishing normally begins by you are someone from the bank's technical saying that someone is trying to hack into your account, so you need to re-give your password. So you click on the link. That website is a fake or the spoofed website. You don't realize that your username and password had gone to the fisher. Now this is the case. Now how you will answer? What type of cybercrime does the case study refer to? Here you have to answer the question. So this cybercrime is called as the phishing. What does the term hacker mean? So hacker means he has hacked, he has transferred the money from his account. The hacker transferred the money from A's account to B's account. How did A become a victim of cybercrime? When he come to know that his money is transferred, 30,000 rupees is transferred to other account. So his account displayed a deduction. That time only he came to know that he has a victim of cybercrime. What precautions should be taken in order to avoid this type of fraud? Now tell me students, what type of precautions you will take? That the first and main precaution, whenever you get the message or a link, you will not respond because it has come from the unknown source. You will not reveal your account number and password to others so that they can misuse it. So this type of precaution you should always take when you use the internet. Now same like the case study 2. Now this case study you will solve. India IT company gave bug fixing project for their source code by a US company. One of the employees secretly took away the source code on the two different series, that is he has done the software piracy, tried to sell the source code to the other US companies and demanded a price of US dollar 200,000. He also received advance payment of US dollar 20,000 by wire transfer. Case registered against him and got arrested. So now tell me what type of cybercrime this is. This is called as the software piracy because he has made the CDs, he has hacked the CDs, he has made the duplicate copies of the CDs and he sold to the other companies. And that's why he got arrested. So like this, every time different cases are occurring day by day. So in this case, you need to be very careful when you do a transactions with the help, when you do such type of transactions with the help of internet. Keeping in mind, change the password periodically. Don't reveal your password to others. See to it that for the unknown sources, you never click on the link. By taking such types of precautions, you will be secure always and your transactions will be also secured.